Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Chapter 90. When we last left our heroes, Fairy Tail defeated Alta-Face. It was anticlimactic, as I've said in the past, but they did, and with Alta-Face defeated, the Whiteout Mages were able to wipe out the rest of the excess magic around Elantir, saving the world. So yeah, that was all well and good, despite the fact that Suzaku and Selene both escaped, presumably to another dimension, though we don't really know exactly what happened there. They have a big party celebrating the salvation of the world, but Lucy is more than a little nervous about Selene. And then it's time to go home. Toka and Ferris aqua-arrows them back to Earthland. But before that happens, Natsu and Ferris and Natsu have one last confrontation about the whole Battle of Fairy Tail incident. And Natsu not only forgives her for her actions, but thanks her for giving him the opportunity to go all out against Fairy Tail. It was very Natsu, a little undeserved, but whatever, we can live with that. Then yeah, the gang returned to Earthland. What awaits them, we're about to find out. So let's jump right on into Chapter 90, The Return. Our picture here is of Erza, Kana, and Wendy in a hot springs bath. Thankfully, we can only see Wendy's head. But yeah, immerse yourself in the atmosphere of a moonlit night bath. And we open back on Giltena, now spelled Giltina, it looks like, in this translation, in the town of Dramil. As I recall, was the exact same location where Natsu and the gang, where Fairy Tail went after the destruction of Alderaan, all those many moons ago. Sorry, I'm feeling very forgetful today, I don't know why. Anyway, we open to Lucy's narration. And so we've come home to our original world. And we see Makarov and Mira and Jonah and Nab, and I think that might be Mest in the background. Makarov tells them, "Thank goodness you've returned." And Mira smiles, "Welcome back." It looks like everyone was really worried when we disappeared all of a sudden. But thanks to Loki coming to this world through the Celestial Spirit world, everyone was brought up to speed. Oh yeah, I guess Loki could just, come back. I guess he can do that, and make sure everyone knows where the gang is. And Natsu and the gang bust open the doors of the, tavern they sort of set out shop in. "We're home!" And Happy chimes in, "It's been a while, guys!" And Juvia just runs over at Gray. "Gray-sama!" And Gray, I imagine, thinking back to the vision that Hakane gave him, Juvia. And it looks genuinely excited to see her, which we love the development there. He kind of braces himself against her tackle. "Whoa there! You aren't injured in any way, are you? Juvia will examine you thoroughly. Come now, get undressed." And Gray just tells her, "I'm fine." And then he looks at her. "Have you been doing good?" And we see that Juvia has made this whole small army of Gray dolls. Juvia was also very worried, so she made all of these Gray-sama dolls. And that finally kind of puts Gray off. Right. And Warren watches this. Has Gray's personality changed somehow? Well, yeah, he had all the dream with both. Oh, also both because he hadn't seen Juvia since he met Grage. That also kind of happened. I forgot that he's not seen our Juvia since going to Edelus. And all of that is really weighing on his mind, I bet. Probably more Grage than the Hakane vision. Either way, Warren asks, "Has Gray's personality changed somehow?" And Max agrees, "For sure." And then Levy walks up. "Lu-chan, welcome back." And Lucy sees her. "Levy-chan, how are you feeling?" "I'm totally fine." And Natsu, all nonchalantly and with all the tact you've come to expect from Natsu Dragneel, "Did you lay that egg yet?" And Lucy gets onto him. "Natsu, it's not an egg." Though it does kind of go to show that at this point the whole guild knows that Levy's pregnant. I'm trying to think of all the times it's been mentioned in the manga. Not count. I know there's some light novel spin-off where their twins from the future show up. But there's the bit in the last chapter of the original series where she whispers it to Gajeel and only Wendy and Lucy hear, but it's still kind of secret. And then I think Levy mentioned it when the two of them fought Natsu under Whiteout. But at this point, it seems to be kind of old news. Everyone knows that Levi's pregnant. Anyway, Gajeel gets on to Natsu. Hey, dumbass, quit bugging her. Huh? And then he just is ready for another fight. You want to go, Gajeel? I'm all fired up. And Gajeel kind of sighs. We're not kids. Why do we gotta fight over every little thing? He's trying to become a dad. He's trying to be an adult because he's going to be a father. Oh, I love that. And Lucy kind of whispers over at Levi, what's up with Gajeel? Acting all adult all of a sudden. And Levi tells her, I think he's starting to grow up little by little. Or, I think it's more of he's forcing himself to grow up. But Natsu just keeps on trying to pester him. Oh, you don't want to do it, Gajeel-san? Come on. And we see Gajeel is getting harder and harder for him to hold back. We're not kids. And Natsu just keeps on going, whacking him in the forehead. Come on. And Gajeel finally snaps. I'm going to kick your ass, salamander. And Natsu is finally ready. All right, bring it. And Lucy and Levi look on disappointed. He's not growing up. Sorry, I take it back. And then we cut to the Exceeds. As Lily is here and is talking to Carla and Happy. Happy, Carla, what happened to Toka? And Carla looks at him. She stayed in Elantir. And Happy is just over the moon, still thinking back to Toka being into him. Yeah, too bad. Duh. And Lily looks at them all. I see. I was hoping she'd become Loxus's partner, since he doesn't have an Exceed. And Loxus just chimes in, I don't want no cat. And Bixlow laughs. Loxus has got enough partners than us. But then Freed, ever horny for his man, I'll be your cat if you'd like. Also, I like the inclusion, it's Loxus and the Thunder God tribe and Elfman, further solidifying Elf Ever as an ever more canon ship. I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of Elf Ever content in a long time. I'm trying to remember the last time there was significant Elf Ever content. And I don't really remember, Tenro, I think is where the ship started. I'm sure they've had other scenes since Tenro. But Elfman's big moment in Tartaros, I think, was largely divorced from Ever. I don't know, when's the last time they had a moment together beyond this bit right here? I don't know. But anyway, Ever just kind of laughs. It suit you, Freed. And Elfman's just kind of confused there. Would it? Anyway, Kana apparently... Oh, right, because Kana knows this part because of what Loki brought them all up to speed on everything. Anyway, you went to Edelus too, right? And Lisana, who of course has the biggest history with Edelus. Is everyone in Edelus doing well? And Wendy chimes in, we didn't get to see everyone, but they're fine. It feels like they figured out how to live without magic power. And Lily comes over, and the prince, Mystigon, he's become a splendid king, Carla tells him. Also, listen to this. The other Erza, and Lily kind of chimes in, Erza the fairy hunter? What happened? And that might still be Lucy speaking, but the speech bubble kind of looks like it's pointing towards Macau, which does not make any sense. Pfft. She became a maid! And then we leave them behind to come to our Jellal and Erza. Also, Lucy seems to leave out the part where Erza Nightwalker is, trying to be in a relationship with Mystigon. But anyway, a Jerza date. We see Erza and her, giant sundae, and I'm not quite sure what Jellal has. Either way, I see you're still in town. Jellal looks at her. Well, I couldn't leave until I saw you were safe with my own eyes. That's some good shit there. And that the dispute with the White Wizard was settled. And Erza kind of chews on her ice cream for a minute before responding. According to Ferris's story, it would seem the real White Wizard is someone else entirely. Their whereabouts are unknown. But Jellal kind of brushes that off. No matter. The one I was after was the girl called Ferris. And Ferris returned to her original world. I don't believe she harbors any more ill intent. And Erza kind of agrees, that's true. And then she kind of moves on. Jellal, what are you going to do now? And Jellal goes on, there are still many parts of the magic world that are shrouded in darkness. And Erza stops him. You don't need to carry that burden by yourself. And Jellal was even drinking a cup of coffee, and he puts it down. No matter how much I may be pardoned, and no matter who forgives me, as long as there is darkness in this world, I will continue to fight. But Erza sort of looks up. Didn't you say you'd stop punishing yourself? This isn't punishment. And he kind of grins. It's my way of life. And Erza sort of smiles for a sec, looks back, kind of like stirs her sundae, and continues, say, Jellal, couldn't you bring that way of life closer to me? What? And Jallal's kind of stunned by that. She grabs his hand. Would you like to join Fairy Tale? Oh, yes, please do that. Please. I mean, I don't know what role Fairy Tale is going to have in the rest of the series, given that they're eventually going to go back home to Magnolia. Anyway, Jallal's just kind of stunned at the question. Merity, too, of course. What about the Erasiones? They're also in Crime Sorcière. Are they going to join Fairy Tale? I think it'd be really funny if the Erasiones just kind of joined up with Fairy Tale. Either way, Jellal kind of looks away. Well, I don't. And Erza tells him, you don't need to answer right away. What do you think about it? And Jellal kind of sits there for a sec. Yes. I'll think it over. So we might be getting Jellal as a permanent member of Fairy Tale. That'd be really, really fun. Anyway, we come to Diabolos. And Selene has been captured by them. For some reason, she's giving me, like, witch vibes in Eden Zero. Specifically how witch is currently, or before Tuesday's chapter, was currently bound up kind of like that. But yeah, she's not really in a great spot right now. And George looks at her. So this is the moon dragon god Selene. She's a beauty. Excuse me. And we see Team Scullion. Scullion reacts, did you truly defeat one of the 4 remaining dragon gods? I was going to call attention to 4. I guess they consider Mercphobia still alive, even though he's not really a dragon anymore. That's my guess. Anyway, Mad Moral goes on, I thought no less, Cha. And Kiria's just, like, so excited by this. I just might fall for you, Suzaku. And Suzaku looks down at all, like, the bandages that are just completely covering him. A fearsome foe. Never had I dealt with such an opponent. Even this body of mine has. And then George cuts him off as he's looking over Selene. It's her. Once I eat her, the powers across dimensions will be all mine. Okay, 2 things. One, are we going to get to actually see him eat a dragon? Because we've talked about them as dragon eaters. But I don't think we've actually seen a moment of any dragon eater actually doing the eating. But also, does George have some reason he wants the power to cross dimensions? Or is it just, that's a cool power, and I want it? Or does he have some goal? Like, George so far has kind of been, I want to eat dragons, I want no more dragons to exist. Does he have some larger goal, though? I don't know. Either way, Selene opens her eyes. Mad Moral kind of freaks out. She's alive, Cha! Kiria also. She opened her eyes! And Suzaku kind of, like, glares at her, and George stops him. Wait. And then he goes to taunt Selene. How's it feel to get caught by humans, huh? Gah-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha! And Selene looks at him. Are you the one who killed Cornugi? And George sort of looks at her, kind of taken aback. Huh? What's she on about? And then Suzaku chimes in. Indeed. George Dono slew Cornugi, and then I feasted on his flesh. And then Suzaku kind of stops to let George in on what's going on there. Selene claimeth Cornugi to be her own child. And George laughs. Gah! Fantastic. First the kid, now I get to eat the parent? And then he kind of goes to choke Selene. I'm not eating you in that form. Hurry up and change back into a monster. I'll show you how terrifying humans can be. And we see, like, the scales start to appear over Selene's eye. And she breaks out of her chains, still seemingly beat up, but in a kind of half and half, like a devil fruit hybrid form. She still looks distinctly humanoid, she even still has boobs, but she's also a lot more reptilian than she was. Scullion yells, Master, please don't try to provoke her. And Mad Moral, if Selene goes on a rampage here, but Kiria stops them, relax. If she lost to someone like Suzaku, there's no way George-sama can lose. And Suzaku still goes to draw his blade. Indeed. Georg Dono's power far surpasses mine own. Thou cannot win, Selene. And we see Selene, her just almost in silhouette. We can see these like white lines through her silhouette, but beyond that, nothing. And then we see her changing into her full dragon form. No more human parts to her. And George is kind of excited. Excellent! I've been waiting a long time to go wild myself. Let me show you my 4-beast dragon slayer magic. And then Selene just crushes him. Okay. That's not really how I was expecting this to go down. We see George either dead or just heavily injured. Kiri and Suzaku are both stunned at that. George is just blood. He's just a bloodstain on the ground. I mean, I know very, very few people die in Fairy Tail, but I think he's dead. I think it's almost like when I saw that 4 beasts, right? 4 beast dragon slayer magic, it reminded me of God Serena. And I almost made that connection in particular, like how God Serena was kind of built up with all these different dragon slayer magics just get taken out by Acno. But yeah, that comparison is much deeper than I thought, is much more accurate than I thought, because Selene just crushes him. He is dead. And I don't know how or if Diabolos can get out of this, if she can just stomp her foot and kill the master. I think they might die. Scullion, Master! Mad Moral also, huh? And Kiria's just shocked. What just happened? And Suzaku is just shaking. I saw nary a thing. And then Selene just sort of grins down at George's corpse. You were far from a good son, but you were among those I loved. Your enemy has been defeated, Kornugi. And Suzaku reasons, impossible. Could it be you meant to lose to meet Georg Dono? And Selene looks at them all down. I appreciate you guiding my way, Suzaku. And Scullion and Mad Moral are still just kind of trying to work out what the hell just happened. No, the master is dead? Worry not, Selene tells them. I acknowledge your strength. Killing you would be a waste. Besides, you might call it a part of my child. And Suzaku just sits there shaking. No, it cannot be. And Selene just grins down at them. Did you really think a human could best a dragon? Ha 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 ha. To be continued. That's where we leave off. Okay, let's cut this retrospective part in half. Let's talk about Fairy Tail first. It's a nice little, checking in on friends we haven't seen in a good 30-ish chapters, if I recall correctly. 25-ish, actually, looking at the chapter count. But it's been about a year since we saw Fairy Tail last. And so it was good to just see they're all doing all right. They've even changed, we see how our cast has kind of changed over the past 25 chapters, both the people who experienced Elentier and the rest of the gang, the guild that stayed in Dramil. We see Gray, after his experience in Edelus, is much, much, much warmer to Juvia. The idea that he has a son, and he could have that son again with Juvia, has definitely got him thinking. And even Max and Warren kind of note that. We see Gajeel trying to be an adult as fatherhood looms closer and closer for him. Not quite doing the best job of it, but, trying his best. And then we see the characters with a deeper history towards Edelus wanting to check in on their old friends there. It may be Kana who asks, but, it's important that most of the questioning about Edelus is done by Lisana and Lily, both of whom lived there, either were born there or lived there for a couple of years. And then, I think the most important part of all that is that Jellal Erza scene, where Jellal and Merity and maybe the rest of the Erasion might end up joining Fairy Tail in the near future. Who knows? I'd be happy to see it. I think that'd be kind of fun. Again, given the current place the story is in, if 100 Years Quest is the end of Fairy Tail, I'm trying to figure out, like, there's certainly ways that Fairy Tail can get back involved in the plot. You saw that back during the Alderaan arc. But I figure pretty soon Fairy Tail's going to go home and it'll be back to, you know, Team Natsu and the 100 Years Quest and just the 5 or 6 of them. But yeah, it's sweet. There's some fun moments. I love that little "couldn't you bring that way of life closer to me?" I think is really, really cute. And then we get Diabolos. And we see Selene played all of them for a fool. Her goal, as soon as Suzaku said, you know, "This is Kernugi, my master killed your son, and I feasted on his flesh," her goal was to end up exactly here. She played them all for fools. There were like, I think both me and like a commenter back in those chapters mentioned that like maybe it was some like illusion magic when she seemed to be defeated by Suzaku, but that wasn't actually the case. It was actually, you know, she wanted to be. It was less illusion magic and more just a trap, and that trap played off as she just crushed Georg without a second thought. I was really not expecting that. He's just dead. He's just like a blood stain on the ground. It's more brutal than we normally get from Fairy Tail. It's not even like super brutal. It's just a blood stain. But just like thinking about it, it's a lot. Like Georg is like dead. And yeah, she's gonna let Suzaku live at the very least. Like you're part of my child or something. But I don't know. I don't know what Diabolos does now. I mean, obviously their first goal is revenge on Selene. I imagine Selene is going to escape and we're still going to kind of move into more Selene drama next. Or maybe we'll kind of leave Selene for now. She'll go off and Team Natsu will like head towards... Okay, let me clarify. My two theories as to what's going to happen next. I'm certain Selene's going to leave here. And she's either going to stay in Earthland, in which case Team Natsu is going to go deal with Ignia or that other dragon next, and maybe Selene will come back later. Maybe a kind of a Big Mom and Wano sort of situation, where like you think it's time to deal with the next enemy, or sort of leave Big Mom behind, but then boom, she starts an alliance with Kaido. Maybe Selene will like start an alliance with whatever dragon they go after next, or she'll just kind of be a third party in the background watching them. Or she's going to go right back to Elantir, and then Toko will come back and be like, Selene's back. I know it's been like half an hour, but she's back, and we gotta go. And maybe that time we'll have like all of Fairy Tail join in the fight. Maybe since they're all there, maybe that'll be possible. Either way, that's really the two ways I see this next stage of 100 Years Quest going. Either we move on to a new dragon, and Selene's just kind of like lurking in the background, or she goes to Elantir again, and we're right back where we started. I don't know, though. I'm personally hoping for the former, if I'm being honest. I want to not just go right back to what we just finished. But yeah, I don't know. Huge moments in the end there. I was not expecting Georg to just get squashed like that. And then yeah, there's a lot of cute moments for the first like 13 pages, and then it's all dark and heavy shit as Selene reveals her trap. And yeah, it's just good shit all around. All my problems with the Alta Face resolution are gone. This was a good fucking chapter. And yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. You know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!